All right, welcome back. We're going to focus in this section on some of the standard reports that we have. There are a variety of other reports actually not shown here, but we're able to generate because we have a data warehouse from which we can query and generate custom reports as well. But the way to get to this is log in, go to the reports menu on the left, and this shows up. So I'll go one by one through some of these. This is probably the most used report, and it is as it indicates a balance report. So I know the period I'm looking for here. So I'm going to say I want to know the balance of my digital assets as of 10/31, 2020. And so, and I want to group it by wallet. So I'm going to run that report and it's going to generate. In this case, I actually only have activity in one wallet. I have 2 Bitcoin, a little bit of USDC, over 100,000 there, and 0.76 ETH. You can see the exchange rates that it's using at that period end, and you see the balances. You can actually modify this using the pencil, and it'll regenerate with those amounts. So you can see the fair market value at that time. Fair enough. Then next, I go back to the reports menu. I actually want to go next in priority order in terms of frequency of use. The next one is rolled up journal entry report. As the name indicates, it basically generates a roll up of the journal entry report, which is another report we have. It aggregates it essentially by account and by contact. So we have a rolled up view. So I'm going to go here, select the start date, the end date. It asks you to select the connection. I hit run and it'll generate that report. You can see what it's doing here. This first one shows, it looks like a crypto fees expense here. And scrolling down, you can see all the activity. You can see the balances, so the total debits and the total credits. The other side of this being what's hitting the digital assets account. The next one I'll show here is the journal entry report. It's going to be very identical to what you've just seen, but the key difference being this is on a transaction by transaction level. So every individual transaction has a journal entry will be in this report here. So I'm choosing the same period. I run it. And as you can see, so this is the specific time, the ID of that transaction, what it is. So this first one is a crypto fees expense. You can see us crediting the digital assets and debiting crypto fees. So this is basically a transaction by transaction version of the rolled up journal entry report. And you'll notice that the balances are the same as well. The next report that is worth showing as well is the export transaction report. So this one, and I'm going to select transaction lines because it gives the most detail. This is actually all the detailed transactions that are in the system for the period that you defined. So something to watch out for is this report can get pretty large because technically you could run it for a significant period, but in this case I'm using October 1, 2020. So that's what this is. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did previously, October 31st here. And then we actually export this data. So I'm going to click export and it's going to download that here. And so once downloaded, you can open it in Excel, or in my case, I'm opening in Google Sheets, and you can see there are basically 10 transactions that were created in that period. It has the various information, the ID, the date time, the date time in UTC format. What's happening, is it a withdrawal, a deposit, the asset? You can see the amount here and the exchange rate that's being applied to it, and therefore the value in base currency. We also tell you the source of the pricing. So in this case, Bitwave is pricing that. The wallet ID, wallet name, from and to. There's quite a good bit of detail in here that would be useful. Those are the key ones that are used for various purposes. We can talk more about those in other sessions. So that gives a good view of reports.